How's it going, Max here? Give me 1 minute. I wanted to get the live going. I was having some issues with the internet. Just give me 1 minute. Grab a drink. I'll be right back. All right. Okay. All right. Come on. Ah, shit. Doesn't look like anybody's on the live, which is interesting. Let me see. Anybody watching right now? So it shows them live. We just have no live attendees tonight, which is okay. It's a first, but we got all right. We got one person on, so not totally alone. I'm just gonna remove the that stupid text that's always there. Click save. Okay, let's exit out. Let's go to tonight's event. Okay, I'm just going to go through some of the questions for tonight. There was one post that I think it was, okay, Dalton asked last week, you can go over the worst launches ever. Like your hopes were high and you're sure it was a winner and conversions just weren't happening. What did you do? So we can definitely tonight talk about some failures. Definitely make that happen. And whatever else we need to cover. And he also said, and if you took on a client thing, they could have success no matter what, it wouldn't convert even if some audibles and changes in the offer. So yeah, we can definitely talk about failures. We got plenty of time to do failures. So let's see though if there's anything in the post. We got something for John. So running a video ad with 3 ad sets and a PPE with 3 ad sets for a top of funnel campaign targeting gym owners. What indicators, CPM, CPA, engagements do I look for to make sure the video and or PPE are viable, or when to shut them off? That's a good question. So, hey John, how's it going? So I think when you're talking about top of funnel, one of the core metrics that we're looking for here, right, is engagement. That's a big indicator of, well, depending on the goal, right? So we have 2 ways we can look at this. So we have an ascension model where we're taking ads and we're testing them on a PPE level and then moving them to a full pull like we talked about in the past, or are we talking about this is going to be a standalone, like this is going to keep running as a video ad, and the goal is then retarget video views to with a website conversion campaign. So depending on those 2 paths, maybe those two paths, we're going to have different KPIs we're going to be looking for essentially. So if it's the first path where we're looking at these being like a test for kind of ascending these ads and making these ads into a website conversion campaign or something where we're going to get a conversion out of them, then we're looking at things like that have to do with virality and organic reach, right? So we're looking at share to reach ratio, comment cost, things like that. In the past, I've talked about how, we want to shoot really for like a 1%, share ratio to reach. And, in that kind of 5 to 20, maybe 40, 50 cents per comment. And that's going to range depending on where your costs back out of, right? So for us, if we're looking for sub $1 leads, we're kind of looking for comments to be in that 5 to 10 cent range. For other businesses, it might be higher than that. So those are metrics we look at for a more of an ascension model. Now, if you're doing it purely just this is like a video ad campaign and it's step 1, then we have step 2 and step 3, where these are going to keep running as a video ad. Then we're really looking at, video views is one of our primary cost per video view, primary metrics we're going to look at, right? So how much is it costing you to get a view? Depending on how you structure it, whether you're structuring it for 3 seconds, 10 seconds, through play, whatever the actual measurement's going to be, that cost is going to differentiate. But we're really looking for like video view campaigns where the cost per view is under 5 cents. For higher ticket info product stuff, maybe under 10 cents. But again, it's a multitude of factors that you're looking at, and it's a combination of factors because cost doesn't always necessitate success because it doesn't correlate directly with quality, right? So you can get penny views, but none of those views will actually click your next ad and buy a product. Whereas you might be paying 20 cents per view, but you're getting really high quality people into your funnel who are buying the product. So these are all just benchmarks to kind of show you're on the right path early on, but they're by no means a de facto metric that, hey, if your cost per view is over this, you should turn something off. Or if it's under this, you should start scaling it indiscriminately without looking at the back end numbers, right? So I think, again, you got your cost per engagements, you have your kind of engagement conversion metrics, you have a cost per view, and then you're really going to start looking at where these numbers back out. So the people that are watching these videos, what are they doing after that video, right? How many steps is it taking them to complete a purchase? What do those CPAs look like? And what does the total cost per acquisition look like across all touch points, not just that final retargeting ad that they touch? And then it's also going to depend on total spend, right? So you want to make sure you give all of them enough time and spend before you turn them off, especially if it's part of a sequential video funnel, because now it's not just a matter of testing this, it's also making sure that, hey, you've tested this, but it's also got the whole path's been finished essentially. So you can really tell if the quality's there, because again, if you base it purely off a cost per view or a cost per share, cost per comment, or cost per click, or whatever it is on that first video view, you have no way of understanding what does that actually equate to CPA wise, right? We need to understand where these people are backing out at on that funnel. Okay. So we'll definitely cover the launches in terms of the worst failures and stuff. But I'll answer some other questions before we get there. So we have Kathy had a quick question. Which do you find works better for an e-commerce Shopify store out of ManyChat versus Octane AI? I know Octane's supposed to specialize in Shopify stores, but I currently have ManyChat. I want to know if it's worth switching over or not, as I think most Octane features are dependent on the visitor check the box to receive messages. Also, does anybody know of a way to get pre-check messenger box on Shopify checkout pages? I heard Facebook won't allow it anymore. Okay, so I've never used Octane, so this will be a one-sided conversation, but I can pull it up real quick and just see what it looks like. Okay, Shopify store. Enable Shopify merchants increase revenue with a Facebook Messenger bot. Let's just look at the platform. Okay, so they got website pop-ups, that's pretty standard. You can do that with ManyChat. Cart recovery, which is less valuable than it used to be because Facebook removed the pre-check checkbox. So it's not, I mean, it's still something really important to do, but it's not as, it's not the game-changing feature that it was initially. You have follow-up messages, messenger ads, integrations, answer questions. Let's see. Got it. Okay, so the way I see it, and I'm actually going to drop in here, Kathy, if you're not watching, that I'm answering on the live right now. Yeah, so short answer is I think there are these, like, when the checkbox thing came out, all of a sudden all these like software developers started building out platform specific messenger bots, right? So a lot of people jumped into the Shopify bandwagon. There's a ton out there that basically do abandoned cart recovery. So I think there's merit to specializing. I think platforms that do everything aren't as good as platforms that focus on specific things or people that focus on specific things. That being said, I think there's such thing as being too specialized and too focused. And so I think if you're thinking about like building out a comprehensive marketing strategy for my business, which maybe today my business is just Shopify, but maybe down the road I have a brick and mortar store, a pop-up shop, maybe I do Amazon. Like there are lots of, maybe a content play. There are lots of ways you can grow your business and it might not all be on Shopify. So I think linking yourself to a piece of software that is only really useful for a specific part of your business can be a risky decision, right? Plus, here's the way I look at things too: is it is really easy today to start a business. Okay, so I can start a business in a few hours with a few $100 and internet, really, right? I can start a lot of different businesses. It's never been easier to build software. It's never been easier to build e-commerce stores. It's never been easier to do a lot of things. Now, there's a pro and a con to that. The pro is that the barriers entry are lower. It means there's more entrepreneurship. That it's great for the economy. It's great for everybody, right? The downside is that because it's so easy, you have a lot of people who are starting businesses who shouldn't be starting businesses, meaning they don't understand the risk. They don't understand how long it's going to take. They don't have the resources, time and cash-wise to invest to where they need to be. So you have a lot of people that start businesses that go under really quickly, right? You have a lot of software companies that start up and they are around for a few months. They get customers. Customers put a lot of time into integrating the software, and then the company goes out of business. So a company like this, and again, I'm not saying Octane AI is going to go out of business. What I'm saying though is that if you look at which platform has more staying power, in my opinion, ManyChat is they're the big player. Like they're like the MailChimp. They're the Infusionsoft of the messenger world. They're doing the conferences. They have the financial capital, the venture capital. Like they have the resources. So if I'm going to invest in a messenger platform, I want to attach my cart to the horse that has the best chance of winning the race. The horse that's going to keep running and it's going to be in the race for a year from now, 5 years from now plus. Now, again, anything could happen, but the likelihood of ManyChat ceasing to exist next month is very, very minuscule. And they're continuing to add features because they have the resources. They have the team. They have the capital. So they're deploying new features all the time. They're rolling out all kinds of new bells and whistles. So I believe you could do pretty much everything you can do in Octane with ManyChat. Plus, you can do a lot. There's not like ManyChat can do everything that Octane can do, but Octane can't do everything that ManyChat can do. That's the easiest way to explain it, I guess. Okay. and John shared Manscaped, which yeah, I've had their ads saved and bookmarked for a long time because they have a lot of great ads, and they definitely understand the humor element of it. And they're, it's one of the reasons why they're growing so fast. Again, it's like that whole men grooming market, or these specific markets that have just, they're like blue oceans, but nobody's entered them for a long time because they've been dominated by a few multi-billion-dollar companies, right? Again, all of them are coming in. They're saying, "Hey, our product's great, but we're also just creating a brand. We're creating a really unique message. We're having a unique angle. We're going after a specific demographic. We don't need to have the entire market. We don't need to have 100% of the pie. 5% of a pie that's worth $100 billion is a very big company, right?" And again, that's what Dollar Shave Club understood. Dollar Shave Club went after the kind of millennial generation. They went after a specific demographic of man that wasn't buying from Gillette. Gillette was having a hard time getting them in their ecosystem, and so Gillette did the math and said, "Hey, it's cheaper for us to buy Dollar Shave Club for $1 billion than it would be for us to try to get all of their customers to come to us, right? Why not just buy the company and then have the customers, then try to change your brand and change your marketing and take a bunch of risks." Okay. So, there's any other questions? So Dalton said, Etsy won't let you install a pixel because it won't let you into the back end, but it will generate a new one for you through Etsy and Facebook integration. How can I pull all that data over from my existing pixel to the new one, or whatever would work in this instance? And Cody said, I'm 90% sure I linked my Etsy pixel, but they just shut me down, so I'm done over there. Made some good money. So you can share pixels to ad accounts, and you can claim pixels, right? So you can go into your business manager and go under business settings and go to data sources, pixels, and you can add a pixel. You can claim it for another business manager, or you can share it. So what you could easily do is just set up your Etsy pixel and then share that pixel with your primary ad account that you've been driving traffic to Etsy and those businesses, and then just use that pixel, use the events and custom conversions in the ad set from that pixel for those ad sets going to that campaign. If you're selling the same products, right? If they're different products, different categories, then just set up another ad account and use that pixel. But yeah, you can easily share those pixels. You can share the data sources. You can also just share the audiences if you want to, from one ad account to another. So I'll just comment there that we answer that in the live. At what minute mark? At the 18-minute mark. Okay. So somehow Dalton, you're hosting a watch party, which is cool. I don't know where the watch party's happening, but there's a watch party happening for this training. So you can either watch it at my party or you can go to Dalton's party, and either one you can watch the training. And it just, I never got the watch party thing. It's been around for a while, but it's an interesting concept. It's like, let me take a pre-recorded video, let me upload it, let's watch a video together and comment on it, essentially, in the moment, instead of just sharing something and commenting on it like you normally do. So it's an interesting feature. I still don't get the exact purpose or point of it, but clearly it's got enough of a purpose that people are willing to continue using it. So I guess the rest of the training, what I can talk about is I'm the vein of what Dalton was talking about, which is and I've been doing trainings every day for the last week and a half. So we started our boot camp. I know a lot of you, like John, has been on all the boot camp. So started last Monday, and so basically like every day I've been doing an hour and a half training. So I'm on the I'm on the burnout phase right now, to be totally honest with you, where it's like it made sense to do. It was a great bonus and helped us sell a lot more. But it was definitely, I regret doing it because it's a massive time commitment for me. Because they're like the boot camps, the way we structure them, it's 30-minute training and a 30-minute kind of interactive element. So each day I'm doing 30 minutes of kind of fresh content training. So in addition to, what we had going on, in addition to everything we're doing on the, political side, launching the new funnel and the new business there. So it's definitely have kind of hit a wall energy wise. But so getting back to the point of why I even brought that up, in a lot of these sessions, pretty much every time I talk about anything, it's about what you should be doing to be more successful with your marketing, right? How you should be running your ads, how you should be scaling your ad, how you should be doing your landing pages, how you should be doing your email marketing. It's all about what you should do. And I think not enough times do people that we all follow, right? And I follow plenty of people just like you guys follow me. Like, not enough time. Like those people don't share the mistakes they made nearly enough, right? So I think there's a fear of being vulnerable and a fear of admitting that you make mistakes and fail. There's a lot of that. And so what you see online a lot is people just, everything is all the good stuff, right? It's all my best launches, all my best offers, all my best products, all the best things I did, all the right things I did. And the reality is that anybody that's successful, really just anybody, right? Because that includes successful and not successful people, fail way more than they succeed, right? So for every home run offer, there's a graveyard of like a dozen failed offers or ad campaigns or ad ideas or strategies, right? There's a list of angles and concepts and ideas that I thought would just be no brainers, right? That would kill and just didn't take off, right? And on the other side, there's plenty of times where it was a stupid idea or a stupid opportunity, or something I thought at the time was dumb or wouldn't work that ended up working really, really well, right? So I figured what I can do now, since Dalton brought it up, is share some of those failures, how we recovered from them, how we bounced back from them, what the thought process was going in, and all that good stuff. We can take a deeper dive if that sounds interesting to everybody. I know Dalton asked for it, and that's something you think everyone else will get value out of, or would be interesting to hear. I'm more than happy to spend time talking about that, answering questions about that. Unless anybody else has any other questions or things they want to go through before I dive into that. Okay, so I'll just assume that was a collective thumbs up to move forward on failures. So I can go through them chronologically. We can start at some of the earliest and work our way up if we want. So I think the very first, one of the earliest ones in the direct response digital space, right? I'm not talking about my first startup because I mean more mistakes than I have time to talk about today. But like the first kind of Facebook ad, online business, e-com related mistake we made was actually Jeremy and I had a business we created before we met Kevin and started our quantum media with him. And it was called Fans to Fortune. And the principle was pretty sound. It was a really good idea in theory, but it turned out to not execute. And really the theory was that you have a lot of big, influencers, people with large Facebook pages, large Instagram pages. That's probably 4 or 5 years ago, who don't make any money. And that's the crazy truth about influencers, right? Is you see all these influencers on YouTube and Instagram and Snapchat, all these channels, and they showcase their life, right? Quote unquote, their life. And then you talk to them and you realize they're making nothing, right? I forget the statistic, but it's something like the top 5% of YouTube channel owners. It was like 95% of them make less than $30,000 a year, or some, it's obviously percentages. Basically, the results are that almost every YouTube channel owner, even the ones with millions of subs, make pretty much minimum wage. They can't make, they're not making six figures off their channel, right? Because they get paid so little for views on the ad side. But most people don't see this, right? Most people don't understand the economics of these businesses, and all they see is what they see in the photos and videos, which is the perceived lifestyle, right? They see the photos, they see the videos, and they don't realize that anybody could make their life look anyway, right? You could spend, a weekend going to an exotic location and renting exotic cars and houses and take all the photos you want, and it looks like you're a billionaire, right? And then you go back to your one bedroom apartment and you eat ramen noodles, but you don't show that, right? But at the time, this is years ago, we didn't see this, we didn't know this yet. Now it's becoming more evident. There was an article that was circulating on social media like a week or 2 weeks ago about this girl who like had millions of followers and couldn't sell like 10 t-shirts, right? So with Fans of Fortune, we had Tila Tequila was the kind of first influencer that we started trying to do stuff with. And so she obviously big, you can't call her a celebrity. She was famous for being famous, like didn't have any skills or anything, but had a big audience, had a lot of fans on Facebook. And so we said, hey, let's make a store, a t-shirt print on demand store, and we'll put a bunch of her sayings on it, right? She had a bunch of sayings. And so we built the store out. We put up a bunch of designs. We put a lot of work into it because we didn't even test it initially. And this is how stupid we were at the time, because the assumption was, hey, 10 million Facebook fans. Even if 0.1% buy, it's going to make a ton of money, right? You do this like crazy conservative math. But what you don't forecast for is if zero buy, right? You don't think about that. You don't think about the fact that what if 0 of the 10 million people actually care? So launched a store and did some posts on the page, all kinds of stuff, and nobody bought anything. Not a single shirt, not a single anything. And what you realize is it's not about the size of the audience, right? It's about the quality of the audience, and it's also about why the audience is there. Those two things matter way more than quantity, okay? Because somebody following let's say somebody following Russell Brunson or whoever, and they're following them because of the information they give, because they have recommendations and knowledge that can help them make money and help them improve their life and get financial freedom, and they're entrepreneurs and they invest, and that's what they're following them for. They're looking to invest in stuff. That's a very different follower than somebody following these countless, dime a dozen Instagram models who every post is just them sharing pictures with them wearing no clothes, right? Like, think about the audience makeup there. Well, people aren't there to buy, candles from them or t-shirts or anything, right? They're there to look at pictures because they're just, it's a bunch of dudes, right? And so if that person thinks, oh, I have 20 million followers, I'm going to sell them Jif power-ups. Well, those people aren't there to buy Jif power-ups, and they don't think you're an authority in nutrition or supplements or anything like that. And it's a mismatch, and there's a disconnect, right? And so you end up selling nothing. You end up making no money because your audience is of zero financial and tangible value to you, right? And so that was kind of the first failure where we started realizing that it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality of an audience, right? The makeup of your audience, the reason your audience is there in the first place means a lot more than just how many people are there. And interestingly enough, a majority of people that get into the space still don't understand that. They're still so focused on the number of followers versus the quality of followers, or really the only number that matters is the percent of those people that actually buy shit, right? You can have 10,000 followers, but if every time you launch a product, you come out with a 997 course, right? 1,000 of those people buy it. That's a really good business, right? You can make a lot of money doing that with just 10,000 people on a list. Whereas if you have a million followers and you come out with your own, your own swim line or your own lipstick or whatever, and you sell it for $20, and 100 people out of your million buy, it's not a great business, right? Um, so those are things to just keep in mind when you're thinking about your audience development, right? So Dalton said, "My live is acting weird. Is this live?" It is live, but I don't know if you did it intentionally, Dalton. But you're on the watch party. So I don't know if it's because you have a watch party running concurrently with this that it's causing issues. But everything is firing correctly. It's an HDMI end, and it's showing, because Ecamm shows you like the output and everything. So it seems like everything's firing correctly on my end. I don't know if it's maybe just refresh the page or something like that. Okay. So, second notable failure, and there's a varying degree of failures. Like failure is a it's kind of the eye of the beholder, right? It's like, what is failure actually? So another big one, this is more about product research, was a company called Gnarly Knobs that we ran ads for at Quantum. And the guy, really, really nice guy, Jeff, the founder of the company, super smart dude, really nice guy. I don't, it just unfortunately didn't do his homework and didn't do his research. So he had a product that basically put these plastic knobs on your guitar knob, right? So on your kind of the end of the guitar, the knobs there, they're little covers that you put on them, right? And each cover came in a set, and it had little, graphics on them or little icons on them, right? And so came to us and, launched a store, said, we need to run ads, wrote us a check. And, now this is why we have the process we have to onboard clients. Like, you can't just come to us and say, like, here's my product, run my ads. We have a list of criteria and requirements because of things like this, mistakes that we made by not vetting deals and by not doing the right due diligence. Because we, at the time, you have this assumption that, hey, the person who's paying you money on ads, they've clearly done the homework. They've clearly done market research. They've clearly tested things. They clearly know this is a good product. You have all those assumptions, but unfortunately, that's not the truth all the time. So we started running his ads, and right out of the gate, the ads killed it from an organic reach standpoint. So I remember looking at the metrics, and I was really excited initially because the click-through rates were off the charts. The ads were getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments for relatively low spend. And so initially, I remember when we first started running it, I was like, this is going to crush it. It's going to explode. I never saw numbers like this from a virality standpoint for cold traffic.